I'm gonna tell you the story of a mistake that changed my life. At 17 years old, I found myself in a courtroom with a Class B felony, a $250,000 bail, and facing a maximum sentence of up to 10 years in prison. Fast forward, and by age 21, I had built a business, made $100,000 in my first year, $300,000 in the next.
Going from 30 grand at the bank to 100 grand the next year, and then 300 the next year. And so I'm like, all right, should I like $500,000 this year? We'll hit $1 million the year after that.
And I'm on my way to being a real estate millionaire at the age of 26. If you asked anyone that knew me, I think they would have said that I was a good kid. And I was a good kid, but I was certainly involved with some things that weren't so good. It all started with me and my friends kind of drinking a little bit here and there, stealing out of our parents' liquor cabinet. And then as we got a little older, it progressed into smoking weed and dabbling with other drugs. Long story short, I saw an opportunity with my friends and other kids I went to school with buying these drugs, and I found a way to basically flip these illegal products for profit. It was this that eventually led to me getting caught with a Schedule II substance, getting that Class B felony, and facing prison time up until the age of 27. I consider myself lucky because of my clean record. I didn't end up having to go to prison. I got 2 years of probation and a whole bunch of days of work crew where I had to spend my weekends and days off picking up trash along the interstate. I really think that this whole experience really did change my overall trajectory in life. And while I think that I probably could have learned these valuable lessons without going through what I had to, I mean, the shameful experience, my whole family knowing, me afraid that I was going to lose my job if my boss found out about the charge, almost lost my longtime girlfriend, and it was a terrible experience all the way around. It was actually being stuck with the other people there on the work crew that really made me realize that I didn't belong there and that I had no business doing the kinds of things that I was doing, and that I wanted a better life for myself. My hope is that you can learn from my mistakes so you don't actually have to experience any of this for yourself. Really, the fault was in the fact that I didn't really see the things that I was doing as something that was really that negative. And I guess the way to put that in perspective would be, you know, my parents were drinking, my parents were smoking. You got friends that smoke weed and say, hey, it isn't a big deal. And you can really start to feel like those things aren't a big deal. You're not feeling like they're getting in the way of your morals and values, or really, you know, constricting you from being able to achieve your dreams and goals. But it's this that brings me to my first lesson. There are two buckets: things that bring you closer to your goals and things that don't. And you need to draw a hard line between those things. Once you become clear on your goals, we can start to look at those things that take you further away from them as something that really just doesn't line up with your beliefs. Because if you want to become a millionaire, an NFL player, or really experience any kind of real success in your life, you will have to get kind of obsessed about those things. I think we can all agree that partying with your friends probably doesn't contribute towards your goals at all. And that's where you would start to draw that hard line about what really does contribute towards your goals and what doesn't. The first lesson that really helped me grow from this experience was realizing that there are these things that move you forward and things that move you backward. And if you can completely eliminate the things that move you backward, you will find yourself hitting your goals exponentially faster. You don't have to make these mistakes. A lot of times I say that I'm glad that I went through this phase as a teenager rather than going through it and doing these destructive things as an adult, because the consequences, of course, would have been a lot worse for me. But the truth is, I could have learned these lessons without all the heartache, all of the embarrassment, all the pain that went along with it, just by learning from others' mistakes. Kicking your old friends to the curb. I think that this is honestly probably the hardest lesson out of all of these, just because it's so hard to actually do. However, this really could be one of the biggest things holding you back from your goals. And for example, the kid that actually got in trouble with me when we were 17, and we were both facing similar charges, he was the one who was buying the drugs from me. He called me, this was just a few months ago, I probably hadn't talked to him in a few years, and he was asking if I had any job openings. Unfortunately, I didn't have any job openings, but I did know that my uncle was hiring for a labor with his contract contracting company. So, I had given his number to my old friend, and my uncle told me that he never called. It was only a couple weeks later that I actually saw my old friend's mugshot. It was some sort of domestic disturbance. He had gotten stabbed and some other stuff that honestly just makes me sad to think about. And the worst part is that this is all 100% true. It's all 100% true story. And he was a good friend of mine in high school. I think this is really a perfect illustration of why sometimes it's just better to disassociate with these kinds of friends. While I would obviously still go out of my way to help old buddies out, in this case, even putting my own name on the line, I don't spend time with them today. And to be honest, most of these old friends don't even reach out to me anymore. As you become more successful, you become further apart, and those friends that may be holding you back now just kind of fall off. And really, that's okay, because you're gonna make other friends who are on the same track as you. You guys will enrich each other's lives and be able to help each other on your similar paths. Don't follow those who are not where you want to be. Instead, change your actions to be like those who you aspire to be. The bottom line is, don't follow advice or actions from people that you wouldn't trade positions with. You'll make it a lot further by playing by the rules. I really didn't need to sell drugs. If you watch my teenage side hustles video, I was probably making more money flipping cars and selling candy bars than I ever really did selling drugs. But by getting involved with something illegal, I really set myself so far back that I could have missed out on a lot of really good opportunities. There are always other ways to make money, and I don't care how easy it may seem to participate in illegal things to make money. There's always gonna be something that if you put that same amount of energy and effort into, you would make just as much, if not more, and with none of the risk. It's through this experience that I really decided to change my life and focus on the things that really matter. And by focusing on the things that really matter has led me down a path that's contributed towards an extraordinary life. This video is my most transparent yet, and who knows, I may take it down later, but I'm hoping that you guys can take something out of this regardless of where your life is right now, and just realize that within a short amount of time, your life could really be wherever you want to take it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video to share this message with more people. And of course, subscribe to the channel to follow us on the journey to Real Estate Millionaire. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.